Straight after, we go to a nearby mall and we ate at a restaurant that will not be named, and we ate some bad chicken that gave us some nasty food poisoning. Tawella was out for a few days and still wasn't right for the rest of the week. I was out for the count for 3 4 days. I was out for it probably over a week. I had to get some antibiotics that made me better very quickly. Not to mention that whilst all this is happening, our first Airbnb was not a good situation for us. So we weren't comfortable and we had to get out there and move into our current one as well. We won't say too much about the Airbnb situation, but I just want to say this country has roaches and we did not know about that. Another point to mention is that I know I'm in the minority here and I do not mind that in the slightest. But when it comes to twat tax, I mind. Twat tax, a lot of you may know as Mzungu tax. Mzungu tax is a tax that is put upon foreigners, white boys like me, that don't particularly know the prices very well. We have literally gone to the market, the shop, and been charged a price whilst they laughed in our face. It's actually a craziness. The roads are nuts. Like, we've had Yango drivers pick us up and ruin the bottom of their cars. The house search has been grueling and has been very inefficient, and you usually have to speak to 3 or 4 people just to go see a house and get it sorted. It's truly bad. But I love this country, and I wouldn't change anything about our decision to move here. It's the peace that you can feel here, mixed with the sour realization that electricity is just an idea when you want to use the oven. The people are amazing here, and they're the friendliest you'll ever meet in your life. Everyone is always ready for a chat to share their story. Things are also more flexible here. You can get more stuff done when you know a person or two. Overall, Zambia gets a thumbs up from me. Give a like and a follow.
Into the program. Let's go straight into the program as we discuss. We know the state of our country. Look, we have Minister of Finance, Honorable Msokotwane, is here for the spring meetings. He wants another loan. He's exhausted the one. Remember, he had obtained $1.3 billion debt with the IMF. He got another $500 million on top of the $1.3 billion. And it was disbursed. He cited the drought. He's in Washington. He's asking for more fresh loans with the IMF to renew, and he's assured stakeholders that the bilateral revamp will be done with the other creditors that are remaining. Remember, Zambia restructured its debt with China, with Paris Club, and then there was about $3 billion with other creditors. And Msokotwane has announced that this will be coming very, very soon. So we know the state of our country. It's perilous. We are witnessing one of the worst load shedding in our country, one of the worst, the high cost of living is again one of the worst, the state of our economy. We know, but what should be the solutions? What are the solutions to our country? So before I delve into that, I want to wish the Law Association of Zambia goodwill. I send my goodwill. They are holding their annual General Conference in Livingstone. The 2025 Annual General Conference by the Law Association of Zambia is taking place in Livingstone. And I hope that you reflect. I was a bit disturbed when I saw the Attorney General file in opposition to a case that the Law Association of Zambia joined. And the Attorney General was saying you do not have to respect laws. You cannot trust laws on this matter. I was very disappointed with a submission from the Attorney General's office disparaging the role of LAS. I think LAS is a statutory body, self-regulated, but it has a prominent role. In fact, it's structured that if you're making any law, you're making any appointment that require ratification by Parliament, you have to put in LAS's view. You have to consult, among others, the Law Association of Zambia. So the Attorney General was a bit rough with LAS with its condemnation. There's an issue of Enoch Kavindele, where he's calling on the opposition to come together. Enoch Kavindele is doubting whether the opposition can win upcoming elections. He thinks that President Hakainde Hichilema will win elections. Abakalambana boba vice president twalibeshiba sana twalibeshiba mulebelelako. He has a concession for a rail line. He has delayed our link to the Benguela rail line because he has a concession to build a rail between Chingola and Solwezi that should take us up to Jimbe, up to the border. Then we join at Luena the rail line to Benguela that should take us to Lobito Bay. And he was given this concession in 1998. It's been 30 years. Honorable Kavindele has failed to develop that concession. Every subsequent government, when they're about to cut it, he begins to sing praises for the president, and especially that was former vice president. So sometimes kubelela kwa wafiashwa Kavindele. We'll be delving into the problem of our country and the solutions. Let's just check out this.
Zambia isn't what I thought it'd be. I flew to Zambia a couple of weeks ago with my wife, searching for a new life. We've faced numerous challenges whilst being here on this journey, and we've only been here for 2 weeks. We arrived safe and sound and immediately got started on a house search. We were looking for somewhere to rent, and if you've seen on our channel before, we've seen quite a few houses. That's a whole ordeal by itself, but I digress. On the second day, we went to see a really nice house. It was a 10,000 kwacha a month. It's actually been featured on this channel already in Makeni Bonaventure. Straight after, we go to a nearby mall and we ate at a restaurant that will not be named, and we ate some bad chicken that gave us some nasty food poisoning. Tawela was out for a few days and still wasn't right for the rest of the week. I was out for the count for 3-4 days. I was out for it probably over a week. Had to get some antibiotics that made me better very quickly. Not to mention that whilst all this is happening, our first Airbnb was not a good situation for us. So we weren't comfortable and we had to get out there and move into our current one as well. We won't say too much about the Airbnb situation, but I just want to say this country has roaches and we did not know about that. Another point to mention is that I know I'm in the minority here, and I do not mind that in the slightest. But when it comes to twat tax, I mind. Twat tax, a lot of you may know as Mzungu tax. Mzungu tax is a tax that is put upon foreigners, white boys like me, that don't particularly know the prices very well. We have literally gone to the market, the shop, and been charged a price whilst they laughed in our face. It's actually a craziness. The roads are nuts. Like, we've had Yango drivers pick us up and ruin the bottom of their cars. The house search has been grueling and it's been very inefficient, and you usually have to speak to 3 or 4 people just to go see a house and get it sorted. It's truly bad. But I love this country and I wouldn't change anything about our decision to move here. It's the peace that you can feel here mixed with the sour realization that electricity is just an idea when you want to use the oven. The people are amazing here and they're the friendliest you'll ever meet in your life. Everyone is always ready for a chat to share their story. Things are also more flexible here. You can get more stuff done when you know a person or two. Overall, Zambia gets a thumbs up from me. Give a like and a follow.
fish. How's my audio? Just how's my audio? Just how's my audio? Because I can see that the picture is back, restored, but we may have issues with audio. Just tell me how the sound. No sound on Facebook. Oh my God, what happened? Oh my God. Oh my God. Just wait to sort out this issue. Okay, is the volume back? Is the volume back? Let me just call someone. Is the volume back? Are we back? Quickly, I hear we had an issue with network. Sorry guys, I don't know if I have to start all over again. Okay. I just want to ensure that our volume is back, because I can see comments at volume. So let's see how our audio, if our audio is back. Okay, just munjele kumwantu wakwalesa. So that we check correctly if we have our audio back. Is our audio back? Is our audio back? Okay, looks like we are back on track.
Zambia isn't what I thought it'd be. I flew to Zambia a couple weeks ago with my wife, searching for a new life. We faced numerous challenges whilst being here on this journey, and we've only been here for 2 weeks. We arrived safe and sound and immediately got started on a house search. We were looking for somewhere to rent, and if you've seen on our channel before, we've seen quite a few houses. That's a whole ordeal by itself, but I digress. On the second day, we went to see a really nice house. It was a 10,000 kwacha a month. It's actually been featured on this channel already in Makeni Bonaventure. Straight after, we go to a nearby mall and we ate at a restaurant that will not be named, and we ate some bad chicken that gave us some nasty food poisoning. Tawela was out for a few days and still wasn't right for the rest of the week. I was out for the count for 3-4 days. I was out for it probably over a week. I had to get some antibiotics that made me better very quickly. Not to mention that whilst all this is happening, our first Airbnb was not a good situation for us. So we weren't comfortable and we had to get out there and move into our current one as well. We won't say too much about the Airbnb situation, but I just want to say this country has roaches and we did not know about that. Another point to mention is that I know I'm in the minority here and I do not mind that in the slightest. But when it comes to twat tax, I mind. Twat tax, a lot of you may know as Mzungu tax. Mzungu tax is a tax that is put upon foreigners, white boys like me, that don't particularly know the prices very well. We have literally gone to the market, the shop, and been charged a price whilst they laughed in our face. It's actually a craziness. The roads are nuts. Like, we've had Yango drivers pick us up and ruin the bottom of their car.
stepped on my laptop below me and somehow unmuted myself for one reason or another. I just have to be very careful. But let me go briefly to what I was saying, so that for whoever lost me along the way, is that today we are discussing solutions for our country. And we are saying that Zambia is such a beautiful country that it doesn't need to be spoiled. And I had stated that, look, every time I meet dignitaries and officials and those that are interested about our country, I tell them that yes, we could have our own challenges, but my country is one of the best in Africa. We've never been to war. We've never had civil conflict. We've never had military takeover. We've had change of government 3 times. In 1991, Dr. Kaunda was such a big statesman across the world. He could walk in Washington and meet the American president. He could go to Moscow and meet the Russian president. Peking, India, and other places were ordinary to Dr. Kaunda. But he lost elections in 1991 to Frederick Chiluba and gave power up. That's what kind of a country we have. We had Rupiah Banda, diplomat, distinguished leader, family man, and loved by many. He loses power, he doesn't hold on to it, and he gives it to Michael Sata. We had Edgar Lungu in 2021. Been in office, was seeking his second term, and he lost power to an opposition leader, Hakainde Hichilema. He gave up the power, surrendered it, respected the will of the people. That's a country we have. That's a Zambia we have. We might have our own challenges, but I love my country, and I tell everyone that Zambia is unique and we should never spoil it. Look, we have 73 tribes living in harmony. And even if we are in diversity, we live united. We are tolerant and friendly people. Another thing is we are such a wealthy country. Although we could be sitting as number 6 among the poorest countries in the world, we are one of the wealthiest countries, top 10, with Congo, DRC on top, and some of us, like our country, Zambia, also on top. We are even far wealthier than even Botswana that has diamonds, because we have potential to have oil, gas, then the minerals that we have. We are producing the largest number of emeralds in the entire world. So make no mistake, our country is beautiful and its potential is extremely, extremely high. We hold 40% of water in Southern Africa. Other than the DRC, we have the most water, underground water, surface water. And look at the number of water bodies that our country has. We have Lake Tanganyika, the deepest lake, second deepest lake in the world, second, the freshest and longest lake in the world. It has unique fishes and other things. If it's deep, it means it can accommodate vessels that, for example, oceans and seas accommodate. If it's deep, you can bring large vessels, both passenger and cargo. The hub of Great Lakes should be revolutionized around Mpulungu, Burundi, Tanzania, Rwanda, and DRC, because of Lake Tanganyika and the potential it has. And it has some of the best beaches, and there are some islands that still belong to Zambia. Lake Tanganyika, it is such a beautiful place, but we never exploit its potential. Dr. Kaunda tried, we still have an old vessel from 1913, something you learn from civics. Look at Lake Bangweulu and look at Samfya. Look at the beaches around Samfya. See the potential that Samfya has and what it can do. Lake Kashiwa, Lake Ishiwangandu, Lake Kampolombo, Lake Chifunabuli, Lake Lusiwasi, Lake Chaila. Lake Chila in Imbala is historical, extremely historical, because this is where we, oh, sorry, once again, when I pull this, I'm losing my audio. Yeah, thank you very much. So Lake Chila, the end of the World War II occurred at Lake Chila. Wonderful place. Both the Germans and the British threw their guns. The Germans were forced to throw their guns in Lake Chila as a sign of surrender, and they were taken in as prisoners of war. The history, because when they ended the war in Germany, there was no communication, there was no WhatsApp. There was very slow type of communication, something like telex before telegrams. And it took a long time for the wars that were fighting. The British were fighting, the German engaged. Remember, Tanzania, Rwanda, and some places were under the Germans, while Zambia was under the English. So the war continued. They had no idea that the war had stopped. And by the time they got the news, I think it was many, many days later, something like 26 days later, I can't remember. But I used to have this information on my fingertips. So Lake Chila in Mbala, very historical. Then we have some of the best waterfalls, 17 of them in our country, and some of them very spectacular. Victoria Falls, well, I need not say anything about Victoria Falls. You know it's our flagship falls. Kalambo Falls, the tallest, deepest waterfall. Goes up to 210 meters. And we discovered on Kalambo Falls archaeological sites that fire could have been started, for people, for us as human beings to put fire together. They found embers and wood that had been preserved for 60,000 years. Fire underneath the Kalambo Falls. We found archaeological site there, historical place. And I was saying, for us Christians, we have problems with when we hear those numbers from archaeologists, because we say, no, the world is only 6,000 years old because Jesus Christ lived 2,000 years ago. David and others, we trace it back to Moses, to Adam, it goes to about 6,000 years old. No, it's not true. Even the Bible itself says, the Lord says, your 1,000 years could be my one day. So sometimes we might be extrapolating wrongly about these dates in light of the science that has emerged and on biblical counts. So 60,000 years ago, someone started the fire in the caves of Kalambo Falls in Mbala. It's 3 kilometers from Mbala. You have Ngonye Falls, you have Chipembe Falls, you have Chipoma Falls, you have Kaweuluma Falls, you have Kunda Wika Falls, you have Mumbulima Falls, you have Tumbachushi Falls, you have Nyambwezi Falls. And like I said, we might have to pay attention to Lumangwe Falls. That could be our new flagship for 2 reasons. Number one, Lumangwe Falls is on the, on the Mporokoso Kawambwa Road. It's about 9 kilometers to where it is. But it's 35 meters down, the falls, and 100 meters across. And it has the largest carpet of water falling. Lumangwe Falls has the largest carpet of water falling. And it goes throughout the year. It never dries up like Livingstone does, like Victoria Falls does. It could be our new flagship. What holds us? No one has done a road from Kawambwa Mporokoso Junction up to Lumangwe Falls. No one has taken electricity to that area. And the private sector therefore can't put up any infrastructure or facilities because government hasn't done its part. Then there's an endemic flower only unique to an area around Lumangwe Falls that was found and discovered in 2020. It's in a family of Zygotritonia. You have to check it up, Zygotritonia. So Zygotritonia. It's a beautiful flower. It stands up around 1 and 1.5 meters, and it flowers with purple branches. It's only unique in Africa. You find it everywhere. But the kind they found has been established as a new species, and it's related to the Zygotritonia flowers. And I was saying, mwena kasama munje yoko, ine Zygotritonia mchibemba tuita shani, because in flower yesu, eko yabana kale, we must have a local name for it. Look for that flower. It's only endemic in that region, and I think government must take interest in this flower. And must take interest in this flower. And let me play a commercial, then I come back to you. Yeah.
The house search has been grueling and it's been very inefficient, and you usually have to speak to 3 or 4 people just to go see a house and get it sorted. It's truly bad, but I love this country and I wouldn't change anything about our decision to move here. It's the peace that you can feel here, mixed with the sour realization that electricity is just an idea when you want to use the oven. The people are amazing here, and they're the friendliest you'll ever meet in your life. Everyone is always ready for a chat to share their story. Things are also more flexible here. You can get more stuff done when you know a person or two. Overall, Zambia gets a thumbs up from me. Give a like and a follow.
Yeah, wonderful, 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 wonderful program. Yeah, so we can do a lot. There's something that government is not doing properly. Lake Tanganyika, like I said, the second largest lake, freshwater lake, second deepest after Lake Baikal of Russia, and world's longest fresh water. Let's look at our mineral wealth. Look at our mineral wealth. We have copper, and cobalt would drive the world because these are minerals you want in the EV batteries and the EV revolution to abandon. The current motor vehicles, the motor engines, internal combustion engine, and we are going electric. We are using batteries and motors. So copper, cobalt, nickel, gold, we have these in our country. Emeralds, we've overtaken Colombia. We are the largest producer of emerald in the world. Just a minute, I take this quick message because I know it's my technician who's watching. He could be alerting me to something. So our minerals, emeralds, the gemstones that we have are remarkable. We have zinc, we have coal. Coal, by the way, coal, the coal that you find in Sinazongwe and Mamba area, the deposit can fuel our power stations for the next 200 years. For the next 200 years. Forget what I say about climate change and all. They are reopening their mines, their coal mines in Germany in light of the crisis of the Ukraine-Russia war. They restarted those both coal mines and the coal-fired power stations. Don't listen to them. You have your own country to develop, and we have 200 years worth of reserves in coal sitting in Mamba and Sinazongwe. We should exploit it, set up it. We should never lack with issues of water, with issues of power. We should be an exporter of power in this country. And if you are sitting on reserves of up to 200 years of coal, exploit it. You can't abandon it. We just don't need Mamba collieries or any other. We need many of them, a lot of power stations in that area, Sinazongwe and Mamba collieries, to power not just Zambia, the entire country. Even with this climate change, where our dams are drying up, if we set up these power stations where you have up to 200 years worth of coal reserves, you can power Africa. You can power the Southern Africa region. So for me, I'm very optimistic, very optimistic. The troubles we see with President Hakainde Hichilema, he probably doesn't know our country. He doesn't know the extent of how lucky we are as a country. We have uranium that is being mined and stored. Uranium powers, nuclear power stations in Germany, in UK, in Japan. We have uranium in plenty. It was found in Mazabuka area. It was found in Siavonga area. It's being mined currently by the mines in Lumwana and is it Centenarian mines? They're all mining uranium. We have limestone, meaning we can never run out of cement. We have a lot of limestone. So we don't have just to have Chilanga cement or any other. We can have multiple and be exporter and develop our country. I will take time to discuss especially the mining sector, because it's an area we've bungled, and we've bungled unfairly. This is an area that should make us stop. There's nothing that Chile has that we don't have. Peru. The DRC is at war. The DRC is in peril, doesn't have the infrastructure we have, doesn't have enough power, but it has become #1 producer of copper. How did they do it? How did they beat us? Us who have proper jurisdiction, rule of law, a working banking system, how did the DRC beat us? Amangalo tutea Zambia are the ones causing us this crisis. Like I said, the critical minerals required for the battery revolution and EV motor vehicles, lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese, and graphite, all of them resident in Zambia. Copper, aluminium, steel, we have them in Zambia. And there's this movement to abandon, like I say, combustible engine, internal combustion engine, to abandon gas and oil and move to batteries. And we are privileged with the Congo. We have cobalt, we have copper, and we have these associated minerals, lithium, nickel, cobalt, and others. My estimate is very, very simple. First of all, we're a population of 20 million. Botswana is about 2 million. Namibia, similar numbers, 2 million. South Africa, sitting at about 50, 60 million. Zambia, 20 million. The Congo, about 80, 90 million. We can exploit, first of all, family programs that expand our population. I don't think that our population is growing at a proper rate. Ignore what World Bank and IMF are telling you. Our lands are largely empty. We can feel this with our own people. And this business, they tell you, no, you should abandon those processes. Let's encourage large families. Let's encourage minimum 6 to 8 to 10. For me, I think that Zambia should have a good, healthy population that can be supported by the resources that we have. We need to change our education system. Our education system tailors you to workers only, just workers only. So in the absence of manufacturing, in the absence of industries, you'll have perpetual unemployment. You have to refocus our education system that should respond to the kind of economy and population. It should be adaptive, it should be responsive, not an education system that just teaches you English, takes you to school for 20 years, but you can't get a job and you remain miserable. No entrepreneur skills, no survival skills, no nothing. That's not an education system. We need to change our education system. We have identified what made us where we are, why we can't exploit these good issues that we have for our country. Number one is, first of all, slavery and colonialism that fostered this kind of education system that brought the dependent syndrome where we can only sell our copper, and our copper is prices are defined and determined in London. There's this colonial and neo-colonial effects that still affect our economy. You have to think deeply and change it. Change the approach. How can we navigate and blame the old and past circumstances? For me, I think we can do better. The impact of colonialism on our country, something I would like to promote other than English are our 7 languages. Ensure that they are part part of our primary literacy program, that the 7 languages are on our national television, are in parliament, are in courts, are in all our documents, and that they become part of our language of instruction. So Bemba, Kikaonde, Lunda, Luvale, Nyanja, Lozi, Tonga. I think a comprehensive study was done, and we found that these 7 languages do summarize the dialects of the 72. If you speak Bemba, you can speak up to 30 languages that are found in Muchinga, Northern, and Luapula province. If you speak Tonga, whether you are Ila, you are any other language, you know that it will encompass the lawyers, Toka layers. So there was a good study. The only unique part was in Northwestern province, where we had to adopt all the 3 major languages, Kaonde, Luvale, and Lunda, for the various historical differences, historical backgrounds, and the differences that exist. You speak Lozi, you can speak Lozi from Mumbwa up to Shangombo, up to Skongo. You can speak Lozi up to Skongo from Mumbwa, So the 7 languages that were identified, I think, need to be promoted very aggressively. Put them in parliament. Allow our MPs to speak Lozi, to speak Lunda, Luvale, Kikaonde, to speak Bemba, to speak Tonga. And let our national news, there should be interaction. I don't know if you've seen it in England or in Europe or in South Africa. While I'm speaking to you in English, I can descend to my local language, and there should be no problem. And that we should promote very effectively alongside our education system. You know that part of the colonial legacy we are struggling with, and that's why President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't know how to respond to this. He thinks it should be barring it, hate speech, give it life sentences. No, he doesn't understand. These legacies were promulgated on us, were thrashed on us by colonial entities. They said, no, the Bembas are hardworking. No, the Northwesterners, no, they are not hardworking. They can only work in here. If you've seen those books, the Easterners are very loyal. So you put them in your proximity, they should be your gardeners and your cooks. No, the Tongas are like this. Those colonial legacies we are suffering cannot be cured by the cyber laws that President Hakainde Hichilema. He doesn't understand why we are where we are, why we suffer the prejudices we suffer, and how to resolve the ethnic conflicts that is brewing, especially with his, appointments that are tribal, that are regional, and excluding other tribes. He just doesn't understand. He needed to understand that these divisions were part of the divide and rule by the colonial masters. They used science to divide us so that we looked at each other differently. Even if we were one people, same capacity, they determined who was hardworking and who was not hardworking. They determined who was a thief and who was not a thief. And they allocated those prejudices to us. Sadly, we carry them. You've seen people joke, babola babemba, and hide your bags, at Intercity. Those prejudices were planted, if you know our history, by the colonial masters. They knew how to divide us. So if you don't know the history of our country, you will bring cyber laws to a solution that should be simple, to a solution that we should overcome. You don't need those cyber laws. The foreign debt for me is a no-go area. I've just outlined the wealth and resources we have. It's just poor policies, lack of proper leadership. That's why Musokotwane runs. He would rather run to Washington, camp in Washington for another loan, than collect $2.5 billion that First Quantum owes us. He will not bother to collect just and fair taxes from the mines. He will not do that. He would rather queue up with a begging bow at the Africa Development Bank and Europe, begging for loans and grants and budget support. He will not adequately tackle and tax the mining sector, which should be our most productive area, because we export up to 90% of our exports. 70% of our exports is from copper. Yet copper and the copper industry is only contributing between 5 to 12% to our GDP. Scandalous. Nothing else but scandalous. Another pitfall has been, so you need a selfless leadership, not a leadership with ambition to be one of the wealthiest people in Africa. They want, when they are listed, then they are part of the wealthiest people among them. No. That's not a leadership you want. You need a selfless leadership, a leadership that puts God and country first, not a leadership that puts money in their pockets first. No, not a leadership that wants to own as much mines and as much industries of our country as possible. No, that's not a leadership you need. You need a committed leadership, not a leadership committed to multinationals and foreign entities. You need an incorruptible leadership, a leadership that can say no to corruption. Have you seen it in our country? They run for corruption. They fail to say no to corruption. That's not a leadership you want. And you need a leadership with vision. You cannot have a leadership that thinks that the IMF and World Bank could develop you. You even praise them, and those are the only people you shake hands. Your own people, you just do this. But when the IMF comes, you hug them and you shake their hands. No, that's not a proper leadership. Good governance. The mess that President Hakainde Hichilema is putting us in, issues of the constitution, trying to hijack, trying to prolong his stay. All that are just elements of poor leadership. Why do you need to stay longer? Sata was there for 3 years. You can see what he did. Rupiah Banda was only there for 3 years. You can see what Rupiah Banda did. It's not the number of years. The young man in Burkina Faso, Captain Traore, is making moves and is shaking the world. He's only been there a few months. He's only clocking 2 years, but see what he has achieved. Why do you want so much time? Why do you want so much time? Meticulous? So let me open the phone lines. I'm so sorry today we had a lot of technical issues. You have to forgive me, I'm alone and I use some tech. It's just not, my other colleagues that go live will just put a camera in front and go live. For me, I have technical equipment. That's why you see things trolling. That's why you have my number listed there. That's why you can see other things down there, because I use a software that's a bit technical. I have to use sometimes 2-3 cameras. You can see this is one camera. This is another. So I've got 3 cameras live right now. And so you have to excuse me until I get used to, because I'm working alone. I'm away from my technical staff, but I'm getting there. And every day the broadcast is becoming better. I played a video of the young man who just arrived in Zambia and is settling in Zambia. And look at his challenges. On the other side, let's pick the phones. You can either send a voice note or you can call. So let's get into
Zambia
it.
isn't what I thought it'd be. I flew to Zambia a couple of weeks ago with my wife, searching for a new life. We faced numerous challenges whilst being here on this journey. We've only been here for 2 weeks. We arrived safe and sound and immediately got started on a house search. We were looking for somewhere to rent, and if you've seen on our channel before, we've seen quite a few houses. That's a whole ordeal by itself, but I digress. On the second day, we went to see a really nice house. It was a 10,000 kwacha a month. It's actually been featured on this channel already in Makeni Bonaventure. Straight after, we go to a nearby mall and we ate at a restaurant that will not be named, and we ate some bad chicken that gave us some nasty food poisoning. Tawela was out for a few days and still wasn't right for the rest of the week. I was out for the count for 3-4 days. I was out for it probably over a week. I had to get some antibiotics that made me better very quickly. Not to mention that whilst all this is happening, our first Airbnb was not a good situation for us. So we weren't comfortable and we had to get out there and move into our current one as well. We won't say too much about the Airbnb situation, but I just want to say this country has roaches and we did not know about that. Another point to mention is that I know I'm in the minority here, and I do not mind that in the slightest. But when it comes to twat tax, I mind. Twat tax, a lot of you may know as Mzungu tax. Mzungu tax is a tax that is put upon foreigners, white boys like me, that don't particularly know the prices very well. We have literally gone to the market, the shop, and been charged a price whilst they laughed in our face. It's actually a craziness. The roads are nuts. Like, we've had Yango drivers pick us up and ruin the bottom of their cars. The house search has been grueling and it's been very inefficient, and you usually have to speak to 3 or 4 people just to go see a house and get it sorted. It's truly bad. But I love this country, and I wouldn't change anything about our decision to move here. It's the peace that you can feel here, mixed with the sour realization that electricity is just an idea when you want to use the oven. The people are amazing here, and they're the friendliest you'll ever meet in your life. Everyone is always ready for a chat to share their story. Things are also more flexible here. You can get more stuff done when you know a person or two. Overall, Zambia gets a thumbs up from me. Give a like and a follow.
Thank you. You can call 0973-078082. I've got 2 messages, one a voice note and another one that's been written. Ambassador, I would like to honestly congratulate you on your persistence to put the record straight. It is a mark of true patriotism. UPND has made frantic efforts to recruit so many people in order to counter your prowess, but it has been all in vain. The likes of Max Muwe, Horifa Shalala, and others, all banded together, can't account for even a quarter of your ability. Thank you very much, my brother. But my interest this morning is on one candidate. Can the opposition support one candidate? Can they rally around one candidate? I think there is views across the country that we should have one, that the opposition must field one candidate, and that President Hakainde Hichilema has failed. I'm calling from Kaoma Central constituency. Oh, it's a long way, yeah. Thank you very much. He says, he also says, may Edith Nawakwi, may she be remembered well. Thank you very much. Gentleman from Australia. Okay, thank you very much. Let me just read the messages. Someone is saying, can I reach you on this number? Yes, I can read messages, but I rarely use this phone. But you can leave a message and then I'll reach you on my number. Okay. Someone says we have no volume, so I think we've resolved the issue of volume. Thank you very much. Even this one says, Ambassador, volume. I think we resolved that crisis. So this one says, yeah, the volume is back. Thank you very much. It's okay now. Let me also play this audio as you try to call. Bela mitinya, mwila tinya saibaro, tien, too many.
Sir, good evening, sir. We are following you. We are watching you live on your Facebook page, but unfortunately we cannot hear you. There's no sound, sir. We are really interested.
Okay.
There's no sound. We cannot get you clearly.
Okay. I think that has been resolved. Wachulufia, can you hear me? Is sound back?
Okay, I can hear you.
Make your contributions.
Am I okay?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, Mwamba, thank you so much. There are very few Zambians who are talking about our country. And you're not alone. We won't stop talking about our country. They can put laws to gag us, but we are not going to stop. I don't know about Mwamba, if you listened to KBN, I don't know how many Zambians listened to KBN last night. There was an investigative journalist who spoke. I don't know, are you aware about it?
Yes, I did. Yes, I listened, and he had covered his face to protect himself in light of the new cyber laws.
Mwamba, I cried.
Yeah.
After that guy finished. That guy we need people like, it's a patriotic Zambia. You know, he said if he wanted, even who would take on winning about village, he would have worked abroad. His family suffers because of what he's doing, but he's doing it for the sake of our country. You, myself, most of Zambians, we are not doing it for money. I'm not doing it. If I wanted money by Mwamba, I could have gone and they could have given me a job, they could have given me money. But I'm doing this for the sake of abana besu. We don't want a situation whereby after we are gone, Pamanda shares what their lives meaning me and yourself. If you are paid over
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with my investors with some channel. But we have to work as partners. And what we know they have to benefit Zambia. There's every country, all the countries that are rich by Mwamba, they are rich because they manage their resources.
Yeah.
They've managed their resources in an efficient and effective manner because of leadership. Look at the United Arab Emirates. It was a bush. Once they discover oil, they became millionaires. There is nobody who suffers in that country. Look at Botswana, Mwamba, just next door. You know that Mwamba diamonds, fashion diamonds, which Botswana has, they call it the gem, is cheaper than emeralds.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Botswana is richer than us. Botswana, when they got independent, 2 years after our independence, there was no economy, no country. But because they've managed their resources efficiently, effectively, without corruption, look at Botswana. Their GDP is double our economy. Their population is very small. You expect them not to produce double than Zambia, but they produce double than Zambia with a population of 20 million because Zambians are not active. Because we've had leadership that does not create an environment for Zambians to do business. And you mentioned the education system is so bad. We train to work for others, not to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So, Emirates alone would have made Zambia the richest country in Africa. Now, but what about copper, gold? And, it's because of bad leadership, and we should keep on talking. And this is the same thing HH was telling Edgar Lungu, and he has no vision. Now we have given him the powers. Now show us the vision.
Chimonwa chirikwi.
Because you are going to know that Zambia, we can only unlock the potential of Zambia economically, everything otherwise, by harnessing, by leveraging our minerals. And then the first decision you had to show Zambians that you can actually do it is Mopani. There was everything there. All we needed is 300 million to kickstart the organization. Why did we give it away for nothing?
Yeah.
Look at the KCM scandal. Botswana, Mwamba. When an investor comes and says, let's focus on the business, they say, no, 50-50. Because the minerals belong to the Swanas. You are bringing the capital. Let's work together. Not only that, we've got the potential to add value to that copper, to that gold. Kaunda, when Kaunda was, we the Kaunda to stuck on them. Kaunda had classified all other minerals other than copper, gold, emeralds as reserve minerals. Why did he do that? Because he wanted Zambians to benefit. So if gold, if it was today, Kaunda was there, gold would have been sold through the reserve bank.
Yeah.
Emeralds would have been sold through the reserve bank. Because emeralds used to move from Kajam to Ndola, where there was Ndola refinery at
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, they will move to Lusaka to Minister of Mines.
Mm-hmm.
And then the permanent secretary and other government officials, they will take the emeralds to Geneva for auctioning. From
Mm-hmm.
Geneva, money will be transferred into the Zanaco bank account in
Mm-hmm.
London, just like copper. And then
Mm-hmm.
the money will come from London now, wired into the Bank of Zambia.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how much money of this 1 year now we've had more money given to the Arabs. How much money has hit the Reserve Bank?
Mm-hmm.
How much money can they tell us?
Yeah.
And then and then furthermore, we've given taxes to the mining companies, and we have overtaxed tax incentives, and we overtaxed our Zambian businesses, small businesses. Mwamba, I don't know whether you know that Dr. Mbita Chitala, wrote an article. I was surprised. Zambians don't read. I was surprised when I read this article. It's entitled Honorable Msokotwane is the enemy of Zambia. I don't know whether you've heard about the article.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And it started from Mwanawasa. However he blundered. You remember Mwanawasa selling KCM before he sold for $25 million. And the value of KCM was 300 to 500 million. But however, Mwanawasa blundered, he realized that no. These minerals have to benefit our Zambians. The advice of the Scandinavians, because that tax is already there, windfall tax. Even in the UK, it's there now. They introduced windfall tax. And it was going to be enforced in the year 2008. The year Mwanawasa died.
Yeah.
Mwamba, this windfall tax was an innovative idea. It was a sign of leadership of Mwanawasa and Makati, because that was going to find a solution of us now fighting for tax, fighting for royalties. That windfall tax was straightforward. The mines agreed. Mwamba, we collected almost $500 million in the first year. Yeah, because Nani Mbita has even written it.
Yeah.
And not only that, Mangade has written it in his book, The Depth of My Footprints.
Yeah.
Imagine, Mwamba, if we were going to collect $500 million, that was the minimum, because at that time copper was at 5,000. You remember, Mwamba? So it was going to increase as the copper prices increased.
Yeah.
Imagine how much were we going to be collecting today, Mwamba?
When it's hovering around $10,000.
Yes. So in the first year, we collected 485 million. What happened, Mwamba? After Mwanawasa died, immediately, Arabi and Musokotwane, this is not cyber, this is the truth. It's there, it's written. Musokotwane and Arabi, they cancelled the windfall tax.
Yeah.
And as if that was enough, they even went and paid back the 500 million we collected. Who does that?
Criminal.
Remember, we are paying 480 million from World Bank and IMF. And yet we gave away over $500 million. Almost 20 years ago.
Even now we are giving away $3 billion a year.
Yes. You just mentioned the 2.5 billion next quarter. Remember, there is no way people can say, yes, let's give him 5 years. Remember, one of the biggest leadership teacher, coach, and leader, Dr. Miles Monroe, said it's not it's not the length of a leader that matters, how long the leader leads. It's how effective that leader leads.
Yeah.
So him and say, my president, you've blundered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, George is resigning now because of the cyber law. I resigned from UPND, and I wrote to my chairman in London, and HH knows about the reasons why I resigned from UPND. Though I never published on the reason why I resigned from UPND. One, the sale of Mopani.
Yes.
Giving away KTM back to Vendetta. Clearly, I put those reasons. HH not staying in State House. HH not clearing his assets.
Yeah.
So, those few decisions made me to resign from the UPND because I could see that this party is not the same party I supported. I didn't want to be soiled. My integrity, Mwamba, is more important than money. I resigned.
Yeah.
And it's there in writing. So, Mwamba, the person who has made these mistakes, you know, we've given 15% gold is going now, just like that. All the precious metals, gold, going.
Yeah.
Mwamba, how a leader makes decision in national interest, in the best interest of his people. KCM, Mopani, was those decisions made in the best interest of Zambians? Not only that, this is the president who promised that he is going to strengthen the institutions, institutional integrity, which means the institutions will be separate from the executive.
Yeah.
They will be autonomous. He's imposing IRH on ZCCMHI, making those institutions autonomous. Because where did IRH came from? Not only that, even Rothschild was imposed on ZCCMHI. If you remember, there was a local tender that was published for to find advisors to ZCCM in terms of the bidding.
Yes.
From nowhere, IRH Rothschild South Africa was imposed. So Mwamba. One thing to impose and one thing to do the right thing.
Too many after we more again. Let me take some more calls.
So Mwamba, it's really sad to see somebody who are making such decisions and wants to live longer.
Yeah.
You know, I rest my case, Mwamba. I can talk the whole day.
No, I need to host you. I need to give you space. You prepare a paper. I can host you for 30 minutes. You can help me. Then we open phone lines for people to discuss what you have presented. We can even organize a...
I'm prepared to talk for Zambia.
Yes,
because
yeah.
what is happening in Zambia is unbelievable. But
no, Wachilufia, I invite you. I can host you even as early as Friday. Prepare a paper similar to what I'm discussing today. Identify the challenges and let's propose the solutions and what we need to do.
the solution,
Yeah.
forward, let me just finish this. You know, elections in countries where we live, they are issue based. Every election they pick one issue. Let this election talk about our mineral resources. So whoever wants to win 2026, let him have a social contract with the people on how they are going to deal with our God-given resources. Our minerals, our gold, our diamond, our emeralds.
Yeah.
You know, they have failed their countries. I rest my case, Mama.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. This one just says Wamwamba tumeni kwendela masha ya bunga. Muntu wandi Iridia shall receive so many messages like that. Our country is in trouble. There's a sector I didn't have time to speak to. But I think that I should mention it as I'm waiting for phone calls. You can still send your messages and calls. I'll be listening. But the agricultural sector and its potential. You know that we have up to 40 million hectares of land, arable land in our country out of 75 million, and we are only utilizing 10% of the 40 million hectares of arable land. Some of the best soils in Africa, in our country. The soil fertility, the beautiful loam soil, good for any type of crops. Zambia has it, and we are only using only 10%. And with the water resource that we have available, we are not using proper irrigation. We have not invested in irrigation. It's just been a mouthpiece issue. So as you are preparing to call, I thought I could speak to the issue of the agriculture sector. We have smallholder farmers as the backbone of Zambian agriculture, but they suffer a litany of issues: market access, lack of support, lack of finance, and Zambian government, we haven't done very well in taking those feeder roads and main roads to those areas. We need to take power. We need to take roads to make crossing points to our entire country. When you map it like that, you will see the potential and what agriculture can do for us. You cannot have, where the market or the nearest good road is 10, 15 kilometers away to this beautiful land, to these beautiful streams and, loam soils. You cannot have. We need to map up our country and develop a proper road network. Currently, our road network is under just a few kilometers, yet it's been mapped to be up to 60,000 kilometers. Imagine if we tarred or made feeder roads to reach 60,000 kilometers of our road. That's an ambition someone should have, and says we are going to do 40,000 kilometers of road in the next 5 years. We ought to be ambitious. We produce 2.4 tons per hectare. Why? Because we are not mechanized. We are not using modern methods for maize to grow. On the same patch, Egypt, Israel, and others get up to 12.6 tons to 15 tons. On the same piece that in Zambia we are getting only 2.4 tons. If we applied proper methods, you can see that our yield and harvest can jump from 3 million metric tons a year. It can jump to 20 million metric tons a year. We can feed Africa. Zambia can be a bread basket. Not a bread basket as just postulated by politicians. In real terms, take the roads, take the electricity, take mechanized. CDF should buy. CDF, for example, if CDF bought, not if Vale Angala na CDF. Imagine if CDF bought each ward in rural areas a tractor and allocated per year fuel, especially in the farming season. Look at the yield that we can jump for our country. So I saw President Hakainde Hichilema says he wants to have 4 million metric tons of maize. That ambition is too low. Let's go to 20. We can. If we farm like Israel does, if we farm like Egypt does, if we jump per hectare, how much maize we can harvest from this current 2.4 or 2 metric tons to 13 to 15 metric tons. You jump your yield immediately to 20 million. And we can feed not the 20 million people, ndaseka sana, but Ministry of Agriculture. But no, we are planning, actually we are scaling down our FISI program support from 1 million, we want it to come to 500,000. If 5 million people are willing to go farming, give them the fertilizer, give them the support, give them the startup capital. 5 million, target 5 million. You will see the yield they will give you. 20 million, 30 million, and you'll export to the entire region. Why are you planning for 20 million Zambians when you are surrounded by 400 million people around you. Why don't you plan for them? Why are you reducing? We can jump the yield for, especially for maize, up to 500% by this simple mechanism. In 1 year, it doesn't have to take long. In a period of 1 year, this can be done. But we have the highest fertilizer prices in our country. This can come down. Oh, sorry, I ignored your cause. I get animated by these ideas. Someone is saying, but Mwamba alikuisa, why didn't you give these ideas to the politician? I was not president, Mundwandi. My ideas have never stopped. Look at my writing in 2011. I said, why is Zambia a poor country, yet it's the wealthiest country? A comprehensive article. Bane sorry na chimila wako. Nimweba ani and make your contributions. Hello?
Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much. It's my first time to call your program. As you can see my number, I'm also the east side of the world.
Ah, okay. Okay, where are you, my brother, if you can disclose? But if it's okay, you don't have to mention it.
I'm in East Asia. I'm actually in Japan.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful. What time is it there?
This is 0440 now.
Wow, thanks for the sacrifice, my brother. Thank you for the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Make your contribution.
No, it's just a pity, and that most of you prominent people of our country, people that we look up to, now you are scamping around from your own country and now go and stay somewhere else, which is very, very unfortunate. Where we are, people really ask about our country, and you would want to speak good of your country. But when people get to the media and find what people like you are talking about our country, which is happening to our country, it's a shame sight. So I don't want to take much of your time. You've articulated many issues with the other gentleman that took some time to explain things. I just want to speak kumlandira fiepalo ba mwamba wesu kuti kale wali kale sale musunga ichibemba chitira bakalamba mwati muletisha
Ndeuva muntu and I'm listening to you. Thank you for the kind words. I'm listening.
Oh, good. So I was saying ati bashukuru baletwe bati umufui kumulu ati chinshi achani umufui kumulu utanda la fiepanshe pamwabo.
That's true.
So to mean that no one can be there forever. So inshitailesa everything has got its own time bamwamba. Inshitaikesa mukabuela mukesa mona balupwa na bonza bekala chalo mu Zambia mulya. Nati mukoseleshe kabiri imulandile palo mkwai. Thank you very much. Have a place. I don't know if it's a morning where you are or it's in the evening.
Yes, it's around 13 hours here and it's around 22 hours in Zambia. Okay,
okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, my dear brother. I'll get in touch with you privately, and thank you for the encouraging words.
Right, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We can have a proper target and export market for agricultural produce. We can resolve the issues of market access, the issues of around agricultural technology to ensure that, look at the statistics. The numbers are measly. You have first agricultural financial landscape. The money that banks and government loans to, the 85% of that money goes to commercial farmers. So the loans that banks and financial institutions give to the agricultural sector, 85% goes to commercial farmers. How many are they? Commercial farmers are categorized as those having 100 hectares to over 100 hectares minimum. And you only have under 800 commercial farmers in Zambia. What a pity. You have 40 million hectares, you are only using 10% of that land, and you only have commercial farmers of only under 1,000, 740, according to World Health Organization, and Ministry of Agriculture puts it around 800. Those are the number of commercial farmers we have. And they gobble 85% of financial support. Our small-scale farmers are about 1 million. You know, these are people that have 2 hectares or less. Then the medium-scale farmers who have 5 hectares to 100 hectares, these are about only 400,000. The numbers are measly. Fidia, you know, shukulu yesu atile. The work is plenty. The harvest required is plenty. But the workers are few. That's our country. 40 million hectares of land. Only 10% is the one we're mining. And look at the number of farmers. Under 1,000, under 1 million farmers, 1.5 million farmers. Yet we can have 5 million farmers in our country. We can rival the mining sector and double the mining sector if we exploited the agricultural sector. It's such a big job. Livestock, look at our population of livestock. Namibia, Botswana, has more livestock than its own population. I worked in Western Province. Look at our population of cattle. And they are ravaged by livestock diseases. We have failed to curb the livestock diseases. But look at the plenty of water, land, and grazing land. We can be an exporter of beef to the world. But how much cattle do we have? How much goats do we have? Fisheries. We have the best, like I was saying, water bodies in the whole world. Why should we be importing fish from China? We should We should be serious as a people. We should be serious as a people. We are not serious as a people. Another one says, Ambassador, you're speaking very well, but why didn't you bring these ideas? Well, the ideas, I've always had them, and I communicate them, but I'm not president to tend them. Even now, I'm communicating these beautiful ideas. What's the uptake? Hello? Please reduce your volume and make your contribution.
We have the best. Like I was saying, water bodies in the whole world. Why should we be importing fish?
My brother, we can hear the feedback.
We should be serious as a people. We are not.
Oh. Please, when you call, see how you can switch off your phone so that I don't hear the feedback. My brother, make your contribution, your name and your contribution.
This is Mr. Deska calling from Lusaka, Majelo.
Yes, my brother, make your contributions.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Mwamba, to be honest, me, I'm still a youth. I'm 84 years of age. Now, my contribution, I'm really talking about the BFI.
Mm-hmm.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes.
You know, some of us were not politicians, but in 2021, that's when we started like being active politics. Though we are not even recognized, but we knew what we are supporting that year 2021. Like what the Bible says to say, only few will enter the kingdom of God. This is exactly what I'm trying to explain now. That time, some of us we used to advise our fellow friends to say, you guys, what you are saying or what you are doing or what you are supporting this time around, won't you just in the near future, like what is happening now, what the government is doing? You know, the sad part that we have as the youth, these current government officials, they lied too much to us, such that our friends, our colleagues, they were misled. So now, this time around, they've given us what we as these cyber laws. You know, me, I have to borrow the words from our former president, Edgar Chabarungu. Once he said, the only lacuna is HH himself. And on that one, me, I'm very much supportive on that study. Meaning, if we read our Bill of Rights today, it talks about everyone has the right to privacy. Why am I saying so? Our current constitution, this is in our Bill of Rights. It talks about everyone has the right to privacy. And then our current government has enacted the laws to contradict what is already in our constitution under Bill of Rights. They are saying they've given the mandate or the power to the law enforcers to have access in our private conversations, of which now, why I've borrowed the words from Isio, this is exactly now what I mean. Himself, the president, is the lacuna for me, because already our constitution under Bill of Rights is telling us to say everyone has the rights, has the rights to private, and then they are giving the powers to the law enforcers to have access in any of our conversation. Now, he's contradicting himself, meaning he's enacting the lacunas into our constitution again. So now, we are not moving forward on that one, because we are expecting to move forward, but where are we going now? It's totally wrong. You can't enact laws to punish people. And in fact, what I can say is that these UPNP officials, they are not enacting laws for citizens. They are enacting laws for political opponents. Now, the way they are enacting laws for political opponents, it's punishing us, the citizens, as well, of which we are not even supposed to suffer like the way we are suffering this time around. These UPNP guys, they used to say, in fact, let me say this, they've said they've performed 90% of their promises. Now, just one simple thing, they are praising themselves to say they've...
My brother, let me take another call. Let me take another call just to allow as many people as possible. I think we've got the gist of your thank you and about cyber law. Thank you very much, my brother. Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba.
Hello. Yes. Oh, yes, my brother. Please make your contributions.
Yes, very interesting podcast you're running here. So when you talk about solutions, one of the solutions we don't have is a system.
Yeah.
We don't have any particular system that ensures protection of public resources, creates efficiency, empowers our people. I'll give you typical examples. Just obtaining a title deed. Why should it take 2-3 years?
Yeah.
You see, if I have a piece of property and I can obtain title deeds in a 90-day space, that gives me an opportunity to go to the bank and collateralize my property.
Yes.
So I can borrow money based on the property I have, invest that money in something else. Let's say I'm running a small business which requires capital injection. Instead of getting a traditional loan, I can use my property. You see that? That's one thing. Passports. Why do we only have 2 locations where you can get a passport? What is so wrong with establishing, passport offices in provincial capitals? Why should somebody drive from Chipata to come to Lusaka just to get a passport? It doesn't make sense. So, in terms of offering a solution based on systems, I think we need to target one sector, create a system which becomes a prototype for other sectors, right? Even if it takes 5 years, let's look at the health sector, for instance. Create a system that is efficient, that attends to the needs of our people. If that system is successful, then you uplift that system and put it to industry, for instance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the way we do things, we can inject $10 trillion in Zambia today. At the end of 5 years, that will amount to nothing. Why? Because our situation is not a lack of money. Our situation is a lack of proper systems that have backward and forward linkages.
Thank you very much, Wachimba. Thank you for that insight. Another person has written, for Zambia to grow an agricultural sector, a country should focus on improving productivity, diversification of crops, and provide proper market access. And while addressing issues like access to finance, access to technology, and provision of infrastructure, we need to invest in research and development, modernize farming methods and practices, and create a supportive policy environment. Additionally, strengthen links between the agricultural production, processing, and trade. This is crucial for sustainable growth and export market. The biggest problem we are grappling with right now is that we don't have a firm national agricultural policy in place. It is Mickey Mouse approach. The main thrust of the national agricultural policy are liberalization, commercialization, promotion of public and private partnership, provision of effective agricultural services that will ensure sustainable agricultural growth for both crops, livestock, and others. Thank you, Davis. Davis has given his clear thoughts about the agriculture sector. I think he sees what all of us see. Yeah. Thank you very much. Others are just saying, we understand why you are abroad. May the Lord keep you. Thank you very much. We love our country. We want to be in our country at any time. We do not like what's happening to our country, but we have great opportunity to resolve the issues of our country. We should never abandon hope. We should never abandon our resolve to solve this crisis. If you come to our country and you just want to enrich yourself, your stay will be very short. I think God is looking for a leadership that should take our country far, a leadership that should develop our country. Our country has so much hope, so much opportunities, squandered opportunities, theft, corruption that's going on, totally unnecessary. I was trying to call the person, I keep on missing this number. If they can call quickly, we'll begin to wind up. I recognize that it's late, and I apologize that we started late because of these small challenges, but I think we've delivered the bulk of our issues. The bulk of our issues is that we have a beautiful country. We have a beautiful people. We've never been to war. We've never had civil conflict. We've never had military takeover. Our democratic nascent as it is has been growing. And we need, when our democracy is threatened like it is currently, we need to fight for it, because that's all we have as a country to develop. Oh, again, I miss this. Let me just call them back. Please speak up. Please speak up. Or if you can call back. Let's take a few calls to allow you to rest, and you can watch the program much later. But today we're discussing the opportunities that Zambia has. Move from potential to actualization. We can't be discussing about the potential. Zambia can be an export hub of electricity. Zambia can be an export hub for all crops. Zambia can be an export hub for our copper, cobalt, and everything. We can create a huge manufacturing and industrialized state out of Zambia if the leadership and approach to solutions of our country is changed. The approach we've taken so far has not yielded us the required results. So I think there's a great opportunity for us to resolve the issues. And at the moment, I don't see a leadership that can do that. Hello, good evening. Sorry, I had to call. Oh, come on. Let them call back, let them call back. So, okay, on the hour, we should be ending the program. We've had a great opportunity, and for your contribution, you can continue to type in the answers on my Facebook page, what you think. For those that want to be bitter, that want to be shallow, saying Wamwambamu alikuisa. Muntu wandeko nali. When I was spokesperson for former President Frederick Chiluba, you saw what I did. When I was permanent secretary in Northern Province, I found an industry had closed for 6 years. I took it upon myself. The banks owed, this company owed banks $11 million. I engaged the banks. It had been 6 years. The banks had even written off those monies. We only had raised your money to pay lawyers who were picked as receiver managers. We got an investor within a period of 3 months. And that industry now, Northern Coffee, is the largest private employer in Northern Province, employing over 2,000 people. And it exports its coffee to Japan. So if you want to ask what I did, I have a litany of what I did wherever I was. Coffee, I had an opportunity to be in Western Province. Cashew is just a potential, cashew nut. We crafted that loan, $50 million. It came much later, 4 years after I'd left Western Province. But I started the proposal. Just that year, I got, the producers, the people that change. I got them a 10 million as a startup for them to, there are these low-key machines from India, and they were failing to process the cashew nut. I got them 10 million. And we did a paper with Ministry of Finance, and the $50 million loan came. Well, I'd left. If you want to see what I did in South Africa, if you want to see what I did in Ethiopia, I have a catalog of what I achieved with the powers I had. I speak like this because I've proposed solutions. I had one of the best listening President Michael Sata. I just told him, Mr. President, it's this and this. Here, Mr. President, you love roads. You know this country like your palm like your palm. You know each area. And with me and a friend of mine, Charles Spanje, who was PS Muchinga, who was working in my office at the time because we're dividing, and Northern Province were dividing it in two. And the permanent secretary from Muchinga, which was new, we hadn't created it yet, was working in my office. We crafted Link Zambia. It was Link Zambia 5,000. Yaishileva Link Zambia 8,000 pantubasata bali ishibe misevo. He said, Mwalisha poyu. If you have a responsive president, they will take their ideas. There's no need for us to aim at 3 million metric tons of maize. It's folly. Let's aim 20 million. There's no need for us to aim at 3 million metric tons of copper output in 10 years. We can do it in the next 3 years, and we can jump it to 20 million metric tons, or 5 million metric tons, for copper. How has Chile and Peru done it? How have they jumped from 500,000 metric tons a year to 5 million? How have they done it? How has Congo, which was lagging behind, it was sitting at 400,000, it's now at 1.5 million metric tons of copper produce? How have they done it? And Congo is at war. They have no power. They have no roads, but they are producing 1.5 million metric tons of copper. Your ambition is 3 million tons in 10 years. Why do you set yourself such low ambitions? Like they say, when you set low ambition, you will achieve them because they are low. You can't fail to achieve low ambitions. So ideas are there, and we are encouraging that. Let's discuss the ideas. When you see people fostering a dictatorship, they don't want people to talk, they don't want people to say their mind, they don't want to propose, they think they're the only ones that have the solutions. You know that's a wrong leadership for our country. Our country has so much potential. And it will not be developed by any foreign investment, any multinational. It will only be developed by our own country, by our own people, by you and me. So this belief that the IMF will develop our country is folly. Look at our resources. This belief that until you get an investor from Australia or Canada or Hong Kong is folly. This country will be developed by ourselves, nobody else. So God bless you. God bless our country, and God bless the leadership of our country. we keep on praying for you who are sitting on the fences to come and join us. Let's bring this vision to our country and let's realize it. You can't sit on the fences and keep on corrupt, thieving politicians. It's your country. Why are you allowing them to loot your resources? Sell your family silver. Why are you allowing them to give away your natural resources, your companies that you own as a people? Why are you giving them that latitude? Iobane, Wukeni, Shibukeni. Let's do this together. God bless you. God bless our country. And God save whoever is trying to mess with our country. See you.